Hi guys, we are going to be looking at quiz 3, and our little saying is, if we have no confidence in self, you are twice defeated in the race of life, but with confidence you have won even before you have started. So we're looking at language arts and we want to list the abstract nouns in the sentences below. Now, an abstract noun is something that you cannot experience through your senses, things that we can't touch, we can't see and manipulate, such as justice and freedom. But we can see an apple, we can taste it, we can touch books, and so on. So number 1, Mr. Brown said our friendship would get better after the hike, and the abstract noun there would be friendship. Number 2, the pastor said pride and vanity were things to avoid. Pride and vanity. We move on. What type of noun is underlined? Number 3. The man drove the herd, and herd is underlined, herd of cattle quickly across the road. And that's a collective noun or a group name. Number 4. We are going to Devon House for ice cream. And that's a proper noun. A proper noun. Special name of a person, place, animal, or thing. Now to our mathematics section. It says write 18,761 in expanded form. So that would be 1 set of 10,000 plus 8,000 plus 700 plus 60 plus 1. All right. So we are going to now round the following to the nearest 10. So we have number 6, 72 to the nearest 10. And number 8, 89 to the nearest 10. Now, we have our rounding up group and our rounding down group. Things that are 4 or less are in our rounding down group, and things that are 5 or more are in our rounding up group. Now, the rules are simple. When we are looking to round, if we are rounding to 10, we look at the column that has the 10 digit in it. Then we look to the number that it's to its right. If it is 5 or more, we will add 1 to the number we are rounding and put 0 for the rest. If it is 4 or less, we'll keep the number we are rounding and add 0 for the rest. So let's look at it. So we are rounding to the nearest tens. So here's the tens column and we have 7 in the tens column. Look to the number that is to its right. That would be 2. Since 2 is in the 4 or less group, we're going to keep our 7 and write 0 for the rest. So 72 to the nearest tens becomes 70. Number 7, 89. Now we're rounding to nearest tens again. We look at the number to the right of the tens, and in this case to the right of the 8, and that's 9. So this is in our 5 or more group, so we're rounding up. And our little rule says that if it's 5 or more, we'll add 1 to the number we're rounding, which is 8. So 8 now becomes 9, and we put 0 for the rest. So 89 to the nearest tens becomes 90. Same thing applies for number 8, which says round to the nearest 100. So now we look to the hundreds column, and in the hundreds column we have 2 in 1,291. So we look to the number that it's to its right, which in this case is 9, and since it's rounding up or rounding up group, we're going to add 1 to the digit that we're rounding, which is 2. So 2 and 1 would be 3, and we put 0 for the rest. So 1,291 to the nearest 100 becomes 1,300. Principle, same thing applies for rounding to the nearest thousands. So let's look at our thousands column. Look to the digit that it's to its right. That's 1, and 1 would be in our rounding down group. So we will keep the number we are rounding. We will keep 8 and put 0 for the rest. So this now, 18,137 becomes 18,000 when rounded to the nearest 1,000. We move on to our social studies section. Number 10. What is the shape of Earth's orbit? Is it round, square, oval, or triangular? And that would be oval. It is more elliptical or oval in shape than any of our other options. So, number 11, which planet is named after the Roman god of war? So, we know that our planets have Greco-Roman names. So, which one is associated with war? Is it Mercury, Venus, Earth, or Mars? And our answer is Mars. Number 12 says, list the 4 rocky planets of the solar system. The 4 rocky planets are Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. We continue with number 13. Humans do not live on Mars because A. There is just enough oxygen. Water exists in all 3 states of matter. It is harsh, dry, and cold. It has the things needed for survival. And our answer is, it is too harsh and too cold. It is said that when we did our reading, we said that Mars gets as warm as the Antarctic. So if it gets that warm, which is very cold for us, it would be very difficult for us to grow trees and raise, the animals that we need to survive. Number 14, which is the largest planet in our solar system? And the options are Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, and Neptune. And our answer is Jupiter. Jupiter is the largest planet. We move on to science, and we have this diagram here, a diagram of the eye. Now it says, what is the name of the section labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7? So section 1 would be the cornea, section 2 would be the pupil, section 3 would be the iris, section 4 would be the lens, section 5 would be the retina, that's the innermost layer, section 7 would be the optic nerve. There we have it. But let's pay attention to section 6, which would be the ciliary structures that hold the lens in place. And that brings us to the end of this review. And it says again, if you have no confidence in self, you are twice defeated in the race of life. With confidence, you have won even before you have started. I hope this helps, and we'll see you in the next episode.